What's up guys, Lucas here. Today we're doing a little update video on the 56. It's been a while, we're still working on the paint removal. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of that today and show you what we've done over the last couple months. So yeah, let's get into it. All right guys, here she is. Got quite a bit of work done since last time. I believe last time you guys saw this, all we had done was the bit of the white up there, maybe some red on the roof, and a little bit of red back here. But now, I would say we're about 90% done on this side. All we got left are some of the finer details, some of the edgings back here, down here, down at the bottom. These are all areas that we're gonna have to do by hand. I've been using the tool a lot to get through a bulk of this paint. We'll need to take off the emblems and whatnot, bumper eventually, to really get in there. And we still have to do some edge work around the bottom of these doors, up by the trims to clean it up a little bit. Today, we're gonna be focusing on knocking out the rest of this secondary orange repaint on this fender. But yeah, let me kind of do a breakdown of how the layers of paint work here. So as you can see here, this is the maroon color that it originally was when I bought the car. Now this maroon paint has faded quite a bit, especially on the other side. Actually walk around, kind of show you how it looked to start with. So you can kind of see some of the white peeking through, a lot of the orange and red peeking through under here too. But there's this layer of maroon, and there's a layer of primer behind it. This orange repaint, which isn't quite a match to the original red, especially when oxidized, you can really see how much of a difference it is. And then here's the orange. There's a little bit of a white repaint, or a white primer layer underneath, and then you finally get into the Matador red. So yeah, four layers of paint we have to take off. Now, what's interesting is this orange repaint was only from about here and below. They didn't repaint the trunk, the roof, all the window surrounds, only the lower half of the car really, which is interesting because the two colors are not very close to a match. So I guess the car looked pretty janky for a while, and that's why they went with the maroon paint. But the process is going pretty smooth. A lot of hand sanding to be done. All of these window surrounds were done by hand due to the intricate shaping of them. But yeah, they really turned out well. A lot of patina. A lot of this was just right underneath the black, this natural patina that they painted over. Especially, this is my favorite part right here. This is all from arm wear. You can see where passenger had their arm out the window quite a bit. You don't see it back here really, but here, yeah, that's a really cool look. So it's coming out way better than I expected. But yeah, I don't think it should take too much longer to finish this side of the car, and then we can hopefully start on the next side of the car next year, I'm hoping. But yeah, let's get into a little time-lapse footage. I'm gonna knock out this front fender, kind of show you the process of how we do things. And yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so let's get into this. The main tool I use is this nice corded drill with this foam sanding attachment. It's got a Velcro pad. We found that Scotch-Brite pads, which is what we use to take off the paint, they stick right to the Velcro, so that works nicely. As you can tell, ours has definitely been used. I think this might be the last session we get out of it, but we'll see how far it gets us. So the basic process here, you get your towel, wet down the paint a little bit. This is basically just a wet sanding process. You don't want to leave too many deep scratches in the paint, so get your pad a little wet. Come in here. See how quickly this orange layer comes off, and you can already see the red starting to peek through here a bit. Now, for this process, I'm just gonna take off this orange layer and leave the primer for now. We found that if we try to use the drill to go all the way down to the red, it starts to just eat right through the red. You can kind of tell here, it really started eating through there with the drill. So we have to do all the last, have to sand off this last level of primer by hand, basically. But this primer level is pretty thin. You can already see how red's already peeking through, so it's not too bad. But we'll get into a little time lapse of me knocking out the rest of the orange here and see how it looks. Alright guys, slight malfunction. The sanding pad did eventually crap out on me, so I'm gonna run to the auto parts store and grab another one of these, because luckily they're pretty cheap.
A few minutes later.
Alright guys, so drilling portion is done on this side. Most of all the orange is removed. There's a couple spots I left by these big chips. I didn't want to sand these too hard because you can already see where it's kind of coming through here. So I'll get these by hand. Same with here. I want to make sure I don't sand through this little red spot there. So you can see that these two spots are pretty big. So as we go a little deeper, it's interesting to see what we can find. I also found a little Bondo right here, which I can't really tell. I might sand into that a little bit and see what's going on there. But yeah, so we're gonna start the hand sanding part. I'm gonna start going through and knocking out all this primer, and hopefully we should just get down to all red here. So let's do it. Alrighty guys, got this mostly finished up here. So this panel probably turned out the worst out of any on the car in terms of like low spots and lack of paint. We've got a little bit of Bondo here, which is really thin. You can kind of see through it. It looks like there's just some cracking in the paint there, or maybe there was a dark spot. I don't know what the story is there. I might try to sand off the Bondo. There's been a couple other spots on the car where there's been thin coats of Bondo, especially over some cracking. They like to, whoever did body work in the past, I'm trying to find an example here. Like here, there's a little bit of cracking. So they covered up this whole area with Bondo, even though it's pretty smooth. There wasn't really a need to do that. So yeah, we might sand that off because I like the cracks. I think they look kind of cool, but not really sure what these two big spots come from. This one, feel anything weird. It feels pretty smooth here. And down here, there's a little bit of Bondo tucked in here. Can't really, the inner fender prevents me from feeling up in there, but there's been other spots, especially on these doors. You could see all these spots. And this wasn't from me. This is clearly the reason why they repainted the car the first time. But I'm kind of curious or wondering where they all came from. I don't know if it was some sort of damage. Me and Gavin were kind of joking. They look like bullet holes a little bit.
Bullet holes.
But you can see they run all the way from there, up, around, even up into there a bit. Those two spots there. So drop a comment if you have any idea what that could be, but I think it adds a little character to the car and looks pretty cool. So I think, I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do now. I might start some edging work on the doors. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Probably gonna start cleaning up these two edges here, finish removing the paint. And yeah, let's do a little more time lapsing. All right, guys, it's getting kind of late. I think I'm gonna call it quits. Made some pretty good progress today. My phone battery almost died about halfway through, so I ended up doing a little extra work off camera. I finished up underneath the trim all the way down the door, or both doors, I guess. And then as a final touch, I put on a little bit of shine juice on this door. As you could tell how much shinier it is right now as compared to this back door here. Now, this wasn't any actual polishing or anything. I'm a little worried with how thin this paint is. I probably will do some form of hand buffing at some point, but for now, I'm using this stuff here, boiled linseed oil, which is really good for old faded paints and bringing a little bit of life back to them. And also has the added benefit of adding an extra layer of protection on top of this paint, which is good while we continue to sand on it, you know. Extra layer, make sure it doesn't deteriorate any more than it has. Eventually I am gonna clear coat this car when it's eventually fully done. But for now, this linseed oil will keep it shinier and protected. So yeah, I think that's about it for tonight. But if you guys wanna see more videos on this car, let me know. I could do more in-depth, longer videos on the sanding process, especially when I get over to that side. If you guys want a dedicated series for that, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'll try to get some more updates in the future. I'll try to work on this thing every couple times a week, get some more work done. I think next time I'm gonna finish the edge work on this door, and then this little divider in the middle. That's gonna be kind of annoying, but got to get that knocked out. And then earlier I said I wasn't gonna do the rockers. The one on this side is actually in pretty good condition, and I think the red should be too. It only has one little hole right there, but I might just sand this down just to see. I definitely won't on the other side because the rocker's basically non-existent where the rear door is, but I might do a little sanding on this side just to get the complete look. But yeah, alrighty. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time on G&L Garage.